What is good, fam? Kendrick Lamar just ghosted the entire Hollywood system and left the executives at Paramount standing at the altar. He officially pulled his comedy off the release calendar, which is a wild move for someone who just banked $15.37 million in one night at Seattle's Lumen Field. Most rappers would be thirsty for that kind of mainstream exposure, especially after performing for over 133 million people at Super Bowl 59. Kendrick is playing a high-level game of chess that these other artists cannot even wrap their heads around because he is choosing to vanish right when his star is burning the brightest.
You gotta pop out and show. Certified Boogeyman, I'm the one that up the score. Walking down the whole time, I know he got some hoe.
Yeah, stay tuned. Coming soon. Maybe next couple albums. I may retire from rap or something like that.
God knows that his greatest weapon against a guy like Drake is his ability to become invisible whenever he feels like it. While Drake is out in Toronto fighting for every scrap of attention he can find, Kendrick is proving that true power means walking away from a major studio debut. This move is cold and calculated because it shows that he does not need the corporate machine to keep his crown as the king of the culture. He is leaning into that boogeyman persona once again and leaving the whole industry terrified of whatever tactical nuke he plans to drop next. Fans were hyped for this untitled live-action comedy produced by pgLang alongside Trey Parker and Matt Stone, who are the legendary minds behind South Park.
It's a great movie, it's entertaining, but if you tapped in, the way you should be tapped in as someone knows about culture and knows about oppression and knows about where we come from and how far we need to go.
This movie was rumored to be called Whitney Springs, and it was shaping up to be a massive cultural moment that would have pushed every boundary in the game. The plot sounded like total chaos, since it followed a black man interning as a slave reenactor at a living history museum. You already know that kind of premise would have set the entire internet on fire from the very first trailer. Since he was working with the South Park creators, everyone knew this was never going to be some safe or corporate Disney flick. The timeline for this film has been a complete disaster of delays that started with an original release date set for July of 2025. Paramount eventually pushed that back to March of 2026 before things went south in late 2025 and the status became indefinite.
That's how you find out who you dealing with. A smart percentage who I'm building with. I want the credit if I'm losing or I'm winning on my mama. Now
that Paramount has scrubbed the project from their entire schedule, people are searching for answers about why the biggest star on the planet would let a major film die in development. This is not just a scheduling conflict because it signals a massive shift in how Kendrick manages his brand and his output. Most artists would be terrified of losing a studio deal of this magnitude, but Kendrick is moving like a man who has a much bigger play in motion. He refuses to be defined by a Hollywood release window or the expectations of a corporate boardroom. By letting this movie fade into the background, he is keeping the focus entirely on his own terms and his own timeline.
You could bring a bullet, bring a morgue, bring a sword, but you can't bring the truth to me. Pump you on all your expectations.
Walking away from a massive Paramount movie deal looks like a loss to some people, but for Kendrick, it is a total power move. If you can pull in $15 million for a single night at a stadium, you do not need to take orders from film executives or their schedules. He is showing the world that his music carries more weight than any Hollywood acting credit ever could. By staying quiet, he keeps that mysterious aura that turns every single thing he does into the major event. Most rappers are out here chasing every movie cameo and brand deal they can find, but Kendrick is fine letting his art do the talking. He is actively avoiding the oversaturation that ruins artists who try to be everywhere at the same time.
Yeah, stay tuned. Coming soon. Maybe next couple albums. I may retire from rap or something like that.
Putting this project on hold sends a loud message that Kendrick Lamar moves at his own speed and nobody else gets to set the pace. Paramount is stuck waiting in the wings while Kendrick dominates the rap game where the real money is moving. The script was always going to be risky, and walking away proves he is not looking for cheap headlines or shock value. His legacy is built on quality and knowing when to disappear instead of being a permanent fixture in the tabloid news cycle. That is the gap between a basic superstar who needs attention and a legend who creates his own spotlight. Hollywood is currently panicking about whether this film will ever come out, but Kendrick is already miles ahead of that noise.
Y'all have the heart, y'all had the courage to be independent thinkers. Independent thinkers.
He is locked in on the tour and the music that already made him the undisputed king of this era. Every single time he goes ghost, the hype for his return gets even crazier. and that is something money can never buy. Paramount might be losing a big release, but Kendrick is gaining even more control as the most unpredictable man in the industry. He is showing everyone that he can thrive without the Hollywood machine trying to manage his every move. This is a level of freedom that most artists will never see in their entire lives. Kendrick makes it look effortless while he keeps stacking millions from stadium shows all over the planet. Taking that movie off the schedule is just another chapter in his playbook on how to win by staying out of sight. No cap.
You gotta pop out and show. Certified Boogeyman, I'm the one that up the score. Walking down the whole time, I know he got some hoe.
This is the most boss move we have seen from him since he completely took over that Super Bowl stage. He is not just a rapper anymore, because Kendrick has become a self-contained empire that does not need validation from anyone. He is the ghost in the machine who is currently haunting everyone who thought they knew what he was doing next. This move left the industry in total shock, but for the fans, it is just another reason to trust his process. Kendrick knows exactly what he is doing, and he is not about to compromise his vision just to hit a release date. He is the only person who can afford to keep the world waiting while he counts his tour millions and plans his next takeover. Hollywood is just going to have to wait, because the king is busy ruling his own kingdom on his own terms. When that grand national tour blew up the way it did, the whole conversation flipped from what Kendrick might do in movies to what he was already crushing on the world stage. We are talking about a full-scale global takeover with massive energy in hubs like Mexico City and Sao Paulo that most rappers could never touch. Those Latin American crowds prove Dot has reached a tier of superstardom where he can just toss the standard celebrity playbook in the trash and do his own thing.
That's how you find out who you dealing with. A smart percentage who I'm building with. I want the credit if I'm losing or I'm winning on my mama.
While he was out there selling out stadiums and living at the top of the charts, that Paramount film project started looking like a side quest instead of a real milestone. Then he dropped Luther with Scissor and completely shifted the West Coast sound for an entire generation of fans. That track turned into a straight anthem that stayed on repeat in every club and radio station all through 2025 and 2026. Seeing them win like that just proved Kendrick is at his peak when he stays locked in on the music and the culture that built him from the ground up. Having that kind of insane momentum in the industry created the kind of situation most artists only dream about. Usually a Hollywood deal forces you into months of boring press tours and red carpet events that suck the life out of your connection with the streets. Kendrick decided to choose the fans and the live experience over some fake movie premiere glitz, and you can see the results for yourself. On February 1st, 2026, the whole industry had to bow down when GNX swept the Grammys and walked away with the best rap album. That win just hammered home the fact that Kendrick is the king of his own world and does not need a movie credit to keep his respect.
You could bring a bullet, bring a morgue, bring a sword, but you can't bring the truth to me. Bumping you and all your expectations.
He is moving at a level where the music is more than enough to keep the entire world watching his every move like a hawk. The gap between Kendrick and his rivals has never been this wide, especially now that we are halfway through 2026. While Kendrick stays quiet and lets the wins speak for themselves, Drake has been out here scrambling to find that clout he lost during their legendary beef. When Drake dropped Iceman in May of 2026, the fans were not feeling it, and the critics absolutely tore it to pieces. Most people saw that album as a desperate play to flood the market and try to hide the fact that his momentum has completely stalled out. This thirsty strategy is a total opposite of what Kendrick is doing with his calculated moves and his long disappearances. Drake is trying to be in every room at once, while all those legal problems keep stacking up behind the scenes. That massive 117-page appeal he filed against Universal Music Group turned into a total laughingstock for anyone who actually knows the law. The court actually went on the record and called his arguments nonsensical, which is a huge embarrassment for a guy who thinks he is some kind of master chess player. This whole legal mess shows the boy from Toronto is fighting wars on 5 different sides and losing every single one of them. Kendrick pulling that movie off the calendar is a power move because it proves he can stay silent without losing his grip on the culture for a second. He knows that being the ghost in the room is way more terrifying than being the loud guy begging for people to look at him.
The king and his rap team, they siblings, nothing but my children. One shot, they disappearing. In the city where the flag be getting thrown.
The final nail in the coffin for that old era of rap beef happened when Not Like Us took home Record of the Year back in 2025. That one moment proved the world was ready to move on, and Kendrick was the one holding the keys to the entire future of the game. Drake is still trying to win a war that ended years ago, while Kendrick is busy building an empire that does not need noise or desperate headlines to survive. By walking away from that Paramount deal, Kendrick is keeping that mysterious energy that makes him the most dangerous man in hip-hop. He refuses to be some corporate mascot or a predictable star who just shows up whenever there is a paycheck on the table. That kind of discipline is exactly why Kendrick keeps winning while everybody else is stuck in a cycle of damage control and failed album rollouts. He is playing for keeps, and the rest of these rappers are just struggling to stay in the same zip code as the pace he is setting. Straight up, the distance between Kendrick and the competition just gets bigger every single day he stays in those shadows.
You gotta pop out and show. Certified Boogeyman, I'm the one that up the score. Walking down the whole time, I know he got some hoe.
Before we move on and see how Kendrick is dodging the Hollywood trap to keep his Boogeyman status, tell me what y'all think. Is that mysterious energy the only reason Dot is winning, or are these other rappers just out here playing themselves? Tell me in the comments, no cap. And while you are at it, like and subscribe. Let's continue. Kendrick is dodging the same trap that caught so many legends who went chasing mainstream glory. Most of these rappers see a Hollywood contract and sign immediately because they are starving for that corporate pat on the back. But Dot knows that moving too fast into that world would turn him into a mascot for a studio. Spending all his time on a movie set with the South Park creators might cost him that dangerous edge that makes him the most feared man in the game. He is keeping his status as the Boogeyman of hip-hop because you can't be a ghost if you are smiling for cameras on a global press tour. Staying away from that corporate machine keeps his street credit solid, and that is a weapon he uses to keep rivals like Drake feeling anxious. Drake spent 10 years trying to be the face of every brand possible, and now he just looks predictable and way too accessible to the public. Kendrick understands that when everything is oversaturated, the only way to stay a legend is to remain a mystery that people have to go looking for. He is not trading his influence for a role that forces him to follow industry rules that don't respect the art. This movie delay isn't a failure. It is a calculated move to protect the legacy he started back in Compton. There is a real chance this indefinite movie delay is just a smokescreen for a massive move coming in late 2026. Kendrick is a mastermind who never does anything without a hidden motive under the surface. When you pull a high-profile movie from the Paramount calendar, it usually means you are clearing space for a project that will reset the whole culture. I'm predicting we see a surprise album or some huge event in the fourth quarter of this year that makes everyone forget the movie was even a thing. He has a history of staying quiet right before he drops a tactical nuke that changes the direction of music for years.
The king and his rap thing, they siblings, nothing but my children. One shot, they disappearance. In the city with the flag beginning thrown.
Whether it is a new album or another strike against his enemies, Kendrick is making sure he has time to work without Hollywood distractions. He doesn't want to be a cog in the machine when he is busy perfecting the art of the surprise attack. The industry is staring at that empty spot on the release calendar, but they should be looking at the studio where he is finishing a masterpiece. He is moving with so much precision that the rest of the rap game looks disorganized and desperate for a hit. Looking at the culture in 2026, it is clear that the biggest power move is no longer being everywhere at once. The real flex is being the only person who can afford to be nowhere while everyone else is begging for attention on social media. Kendrick has reached a point where his silence is louder than any tweet or minor project his peers are pushing to stay relevant. He has the money from those record-breaking tours and the respect from his Grammy sweeps to just sit home and wait for the right moment.
Yeah, stay tuned. Coming soon. Maybe next couple albums. I may retire from rap or something like that.
While Drake is out here struggling with legal appeals and projects that critics are calling desperate, Kendrick is just enjoying the peace of a winner. He is the only artist on earth who can tell a major film studio to wait and still be the most discussed person in the industry. This is what true independence looks like when you control the narrative on your own terms. Before we wrap this up and see how the rest of the industry tries to fill the gap, I want to know what you think about this movie situation. Tell me if Kendrick is playing it smart by staying in the shadows, or if he should have taken that Hollywood check while it was there. Let me know in the comments. No cap, and make sure you like and subscribe for the latest rap drama. Kendrick is showing everyone that a king does not have to speak to be heard by the world. The Boogeyman is still out there waiting for the right moment to remind everyone why he is the best to ever do it. Kendrick Lamar is winning by staying ghost, and the world is holding its breath to see what happens next.